Hello students, I hope you are enjoying your holiday. In the next 10 days, Honor Max will be hosting an imaginative essay writing routine suitable for both junior and senior schools. If you need the Honor Max interactive workbook for imaginative compositions prior to the lessons, kindly contact us on 0724 09 44 72. 10 days, 10 lessons, 10 essay samples. Welcome to the second lesson of imaginative composition writing. We shall delve into language ability. You must be able to tell where you belong and where you want to be if not yet there. This routine is suitable for both senior and junior schools. If you need a copy of Honor Max interactive imaginative essay workbook, call or WhatsApp 0724 09 44 72. Remember, it is 10 days, 10 lessons, and 10 essay samples. But first things first, your language ability. How well can you express yourself on a subject matter? Can you breathe life even in the most boring routines and stories? Can you use language in a captivating manner yet remain natural? Are you ready to improve some of the areas you feel you should work on? Your ability to communicate will be graded using levels of intelligibility, correctness, accuracy, fluency, pleasantness, and originality. Intelligibility is your ability to understand English, whereas correctness refers to whether your structures are grammatical or not. Accuracy is your ability to use words with precision, and fluency is the ability to maintain cohesion in your flow of thoughts. Pleasantness refers to how attractive your structures are, and originality is the ability to be authentic and own your composition. Using all these abilities, you can belong to class A, B, C, or even D. Let's begin with the D candidate. The D class can be awarded marks ranging between 1 and 10. This class is generally characterized by no communication at all. It is the least language ability, and the examiner can only guess what the student meant to say. The candidate might know few words, but they cannot fit them meaningfully into sentences. They have all sorts of gross errors. I doubt if many students will belong here. Some of you will be in class C, which has marks ranging between 6 and 10. The C candidate communicates but more or less clearly. The C candidate, unlike the D candidate, communicates but more or less clearly. They are not confident in language use. They do not develop their subject fully, and they lack economy of language. There are unnecessary repetitions in their essays, and mother tongue influence is felt. Their story has a weak arrangement. The B class has greater fluency, and their communication is easy. The candidate may be ambitious and sometimes over-ambitious. Even though their essay can be clean and unassuming, their ease of communication is evident. Tone can be identifiable at this level, and higher classes of B exhibit economy of language. These higher classes can use a fair range of vocabulary and idioms. Tenses, agreement, spelling, and punctuation are quite good, although there may be some errors and slips. Higher B students have a number of merit items, some whole sentence, others whole expression. Then we have the A student, whose marks ranges between 16 and 20. The A student is fluent and attractive in their communication. They are original, sharing their deep feelings, emotions, and enthusiasms. They express themselves freely without any visible constraint. Their essay is mature, well-planned, and often humorous. They have complete command of the English language and the subject matter. The higher A candidate, that is the A+, has a very definite spark. They leave a long-lasting impression. The A+ candidate can connect the reader to their feelings, tastes, points of view, youthfulness, and even culture. They communicate their whole selves. They then have a very clear moral lesson. More about the classes should be found on page 4 of our Hone Your Marks workbooks. Some candidates at B were C candidates who worked on their compositions by pushing themselves to practice. Unfortunately, most S candidates get the B because they are lazy and so end up writing monotonously. For such, question 1 of English paper 3 is such a tedious one. They needed to have practiced, but they never cared to. Do not get me wrong, the B candidate is a very good writer. Just like in any other work of art, they ought to have polished the skill. In this lesson, I will take you through the art of writing. We shall look at how you can flaunt your language ability and make it work for you. It is very easy to push yourself a class up. You do not need a whole dictionary. You do not need a full thesaurus. You certainly don't need the whole collection of idiomatic expressions and proverbs. So how then can you demonstrate that you are a good writer if you do not need all these? We shall be guided by what should be merited in a composition. Let us therefore explore items of merit during neck marking. Top on the list are good choices of words and phrases. You need only 450 words or so from your diction to impress the examiner cum readers. Be sure to go only for the best. The best words and phrases include using appropriate register or rich vocabulary. Register is how we adjust our choice of words in various contexts differently. Good selection of these registers amounts to rich vocabulary. For instance, there are terminologies that go with economic stagnation, including cost of living, socioeconomic status, strife, bankrupt, inflation, recession, hoarding, to mention but a few. A naturally good command of these terminologies in your composition will warrant meriting. That will be absolutely rich vocabulary. We had earlier said that B and A candidates do not just command their language, they also develop their subject matter fully. Supposing the subject matter is not economic stagnation but fear and insecurity, as we saw in Chris' composition in the previous lesson, how will we adjust our terminology to fit the new context? Inflation, for instance, might not count or even fit in the composition about fear and insecurity as narrated in Chris' perspective, where 2 girls left school too late and were ambushed by kidnappers. In that storyline, some of the words that resonated with the situation the girls were in, that is fear and insecurity, included instinctively, gigantic silhouette, rumble, reverberated, claws of perverts in paragraph 1. You should notice that the words were merited for 3 or more reasons. Number 1, they helped develop the subject matter, i.e. fear and insecurity. Number 2, they demonstrated mastery of language by the candidate, and above all, number 3, they helped achieve economy of language. Instinctively enabled Chris to express just in a word the idea that sensing danger, the girls acted naturally based on instincts. A gigantic silhouette helped Chris in just 3 words to describe that it was dark, and so the girls bumped into some sort of a frame or a shadow too big to let her pass. In rumble and even reverberated, the candidate shortened the idea that the voice that cut through the darkness was deep and scary. It made the girls scared stiff, and by extension, the owner of the voice was a dangerous person, potentially. Then, using claws of perverts, Chris told us precisely that the dangerous men were of queer sexual tendencies, unacceptable by the society. They would potentially assault the girls sexually. What else apart from the appropriate register and rich vocabulary? Good choice of words and phrases can manifest using phrasal verbs and idiomatic expressions. A phrasal verb is a combination of a lexical verb and a preposition or an adverb or both, giving the lexical verb a new meaning. Phrasal verbs are fixed and must be used accurately. Poorly used ones can drag you down. Our Hone Your Marks workbook with the imaginative essay routine has numerous phrasal verbs plus how they should be used. Let us briefly consider Chris' composition once more. In the fourth paragraph, the third sentence, Chris wrote, "We had no idea evil people could come after us for that." This is a sentence worth meriting because of "come after us." If the candidate wrote plainly, "We had no idea evil people would follow or chase us for that," then it would not have been merited. In the fourth sentence, the same paragraph, he writes, "They had sprung from the shadows." The sentence is worth meriting because of the phrasal verb sprang from. A B student would have just said, "They had appeared suddenly from the shadows," which would have been a clean sentence but no item of merit unless we considered the imagery in shadow. Idiomatic expressions can also distinguish between the A and B students. They too help write pleasantly with greater depth, that is, if used properly. Idioms that have already been used over time should be avoided. They turn into cliches and no longer excite. To avoid these, use them naturally and with precision. Let's consider the second paragraph of Chris' composition. A sentence there reads, "The teacher would skin us alive if we did not by the end of the day." An ordinary student, that is a B student or a C student, would have said, "The teacher would punish us heavily if we did not by the end of the day." That would be plain and will not be merited. So skin alive is an idiomatic expression and therefore enables us merit that sentence. The candidate again says, "We were between a rock and a hard place." That is worth meriting. The ordinary candidate would have said, "We were in dilemma." And dilemma would have been merited at word level. Yet, in imaginative composition, a merit tick at the end of a phrase is weightier than one on just a single word. Do you also realize that between a rock and a hard place precisely summarizes the whole paragraph? Our imaginative composition essay writing routine also has a range of idiomatic expressions you can consider using in your essays. 0724 09 44 72 is the number to call if you need a copy. Lastly, on good choices of words and expressions, the Hone Your Marks workbook explores the use of figurative language. We display greater linguistic ability when we write figuratively, above the literal. Figurative language enriches your essay by giving it depth, but remember to keep it natural. Writing figuratively involves using imagery and other figures of speech like similes, metaphors, irony, hyperbole, among others. It can also mean using proverbs accurately. Let's take the first sentence of the last paragraph in Chris' composition. "Big girls like you have given us immense pleasure. The thunderer's voice brought me back to reality." Above the literal, big girls means mature enough, ready for the escapade, ripe for the activity, and not just literally. The whole statement inside the quotations has been overstated. The perverts exaggerate what they want to experience, concealing or downplaying the fact that their actions will tantamount to sexual assault, ruining the lives of those little girls. Thunderer's voice in the speech tag is metaphorical. It refers to the deep, frightening voice that we had talked about earlier. There's a sentence that reads, "The car stopped an inch from the abductors." There is deliberate exaggeration, meaning it stopped very close to the abductors. Therefore, that statement is worth meriting. Do you have any questions on the correct choice of words and phrases? Drop them in the comment section or send them directly to my WhatsApp 072409 44 72. The second way to flaunt language ability is to explore sentence variety. The merit ticks you will garner here will be placed at the end of the sentences, taking you straight to upper B of 15 marks or direct to A. Consider that in your variety of sentences, we expect the following. 1. Long versus short sentences. Simple sentences and some compound ones are usually shorter. On the contrary, most complex and compound complex sentences are longer. When should you use the short sentences? Reserve short sentences for areas you want to build tension. They bring about the effect that things are happening fast. There is no time for explanations. Long sentences should be reserved where winding explanations are needed. At this point, you must not sound as though you are withholding some information. While looking at Chris' first paragraph, we saw that the first two sentences were quite long. But once Chris has unearthed his subject matter in those two sentences, he switches to short sentences. The switch makes his essay more pleasant. The one-word sentence, third, is onomatopoeic. It is crucial here because it helps us understand that even though it was dark, the sound of the fall of Chiriku is how the narrator gets to know that her friend has failed to escape as well. The last paragraph comprises long sentences. The reason for them is genuine. It is time to explain everything. Good explanations are elaborate. No more tension, no more haste. Just appease the reader. On your marks, routine for imaginative composition has detailed explanations of what simple and compound and even complex sentences really are and how they should be structured. Secondly, to flaunt sentence variety, you should consider different types of sentences. Throw us an inverted sentence once in a while, but do not overdo it. An inverted sentence changes the tone of your essay colorfully, consequently adjusting the focus of your reader. How do you structure an inverted sentence? Find out from On Your Marks on page 10. From Chris' composition, there was just a single inversion. It made a statement. It read, and there quickly fell Chiriku and I in the claws of perverts. The verb fall is pushed ahead of the subject, Chiriku and I, typical of sentence inversion. With this structure, we emphasize, as in repetition, that Chiriku and I fell in deep trouble. How else can you deviate from or interrupt usual statements common in narrations? You can explore different constructions, including rhetorical questions and exclamations. Rhetorical questions and exclamations promote the physical outlook of your essay apart from shifting focus and creating emphasis. They break the monotony of endless declarations. They make your essay appealing and interesting to read. What were we going to do? That was a line in Chris' composition which emphasized the helplessness of the two young girls. We have seen that words can earn you merit ticks, but greater will be the ticks that will be put on whole expressions. Much better will be the ticks that will come at the margin, meriting a whole sentence. But the best ticks come at the end of paragraphs. So that means you must work on your paragraphing skills. If your paragraph has all those items of merit discussed earlier, you are on top of the game. You shall be awarded an A. But not only that. Not only merit items count. What else counts in good paragraphing skills? Number 1, peg your paragraph on a single idea. 2, use a variety of sentences in each paragraph. And 3, ensure your sentences are all grammatical. If expository, have a topic sentence that is then supported with details. And lastly, use connectors to achieve cohesion. Let me remind you that an A+ essay has errors too. Just like a C candidate who may have a very clean composition. Examiners do not check out for errors. they look for merit ticks. Merit ticks indicate your language ability and thus will always carry the day. So today's composition is expository. Write a composition on how the youth can take part in conserving the environment. So today's composition belongs to a young person called Miles. So on to his work, he writes, the youth can play an important role in conserving our environment. They are our leaders of tomorrow. They should come up strong to preserve what we are quickly losing. Youth should report people who are polluting the environment. If they come across such people, they can take pictures as evidences to arraign them in court and answer for their criminal offenses. This will make everyone fear polluting the environment. It will reduce pollution and therefore conserve of the environment. Youth should develop machines that will help in cleaning the environment. The government can sponsor these youths and develop their project so that it can reach many people. The people can be given the machines so that they can use them to also conserve the environment. The youth can also conserve our environment by cleaning it regularly. While at school, they can conserve their classes. While at school, they can ensure their classes are clean and pick litter around the compound and even at home. Charity begins at home. They should be helping their parents to keep their home compounds clean. By engaging in cleanliness, our environment is conserved. The youth should plant trees to help in curbing soil erosion. Soil erosion is caused by lack of vegetation cover. The common agents of soil erosion are wind, water, and animals. If youths take it upon themselves to plant trees, they will be able to curb soil erosion. The trees will act as windbreakers. Soil will not be blown away by the strong wind. Youth should also vie for leadership roles so that they can advocate for our environment. Many leaders today do not pay enough attention to the environment. Such leaders should not be elected during campaigns. The youths are left out in leadership positions, but if many of them are elected, they can create awareness on conservation of the environment. Because of climate change, our environment has been destroyed. If climate change continues, there will be a bigger problem in the near future. The youths should therefore form groups to campaign against pollution because even youths have smartphones. They can all post about conservation and discourage pollution on social media. Many people will see the campaigns and take steps to conserve the environment. Therefore, the youth can play a very important role in conserving the environment. Clearly, Miles is a B student who can easily get to A. Miles' introduction is superb. He introduces the essay and mentions already that we are quickly losing our environment. In his second last paragraph, he mentions climate change as the reason why we are losing the environment quickly. So, for unity of ideas, we shall cut out and paste that climate change part to the introduction. Then, Miles brings out different points in 6 paragraphs. In paragraph 2, he says, the youth should report people who pollute the environment to the authorities. Am I the only one who can identify a familiar background? The Samaritan? We can creatively borrow from the Samaritan and make it louder. We can even quote the text. Didn't Alvita and Montano create an app that helped monitor how resources were being utilized in Maracas? In paragraph 3, Miles says that the youth should develop machines to help in cleaning the environment. He makes a good point there. Innovation and technology as themes come out clearly here. We can keep that point but expound on it. Then he says, the youth should clean the environment. It is another impressive point. He crowns it with the proverb, "Charity begins at home." I loved it. In the next paragraph, he urges the youth to plant trees to control soil erosion. Look at how he displays good mastery on the subject. We might find a way to improve it further, but even if we do not, it can stand out as it is. Then Miles advises the youth to vie for leadership roles so that they can advocate for the environment by themselves. It is a good point. I have an idea of how we can give it a brighter shine. We could use one of the youth organizations in Kenya whose tagline is really interesting. In the last paragraph, we can see that social media, a part of technology, comes in. We can combine with the point on technology and innovation, then breathe life into the conclusion, and there our composition will upgrade to A+. How will that final composition sound like? The youth can play a crucial role in environmental conservation. In the wake of climate change, a global nightmare wreaking havoc in every aspect of our existence, we need all hands on deck. First, the youth can innovate and create applications, websites, and machines that aid in conservation. In The Samaritan by John Lara, for instance, two Sagrada Secondary School students design an application that helps in monitoring how resources are utilized in their municipality. A pilot study conducted in the Ministry of Environment mandates people to take photos and clips of people polluting the environment and post them on the app. Those culpable could be prosecuted and the posts used against them as irrefutable evidence. Who will dare engage in pollution with such a watchdog? Secondly, youth should use technology to fight against environmental degradation. Technology has proven to solve most of the world's problems. Youth and technology are joined at the hip. With artificial intelligence, that is AI, youth can create digital awareness on conservation. AI can be used to boost the results, and if all trending hashtags dwell on the environment for a week or so, there will be far-reaching outcomes. Also, the youth can set the pace by engaging in conservation activities. Following in Wangari Maathai's footsteps in their immediate environment, the youth can make a difference. At home, it could be building gabions to control soil erosion, and at school, engaging in conservation projects like creating compost pits. The bigger picture should be youth engaging in tree planting to improve the diminishing forest cover. Also, the youth should plant trees to help in curbing soil erosion. Soil erosion is caused by lack of vegetation cover. The common agents of soil erosion are wind, water, and animals. If youths take it upon themselves to plant trees, they will be able to curb soil erosion. The trees will act as windbreakers. Soil will not be blown away by the strong wind. Lastly, youth should consider voting in leaders who care about our environment. In a campaign dubbed Making the Youth Factor Count, the youth agenda is making plans to have youth send home corrupt leaders come 2027. Only incorruptible leaders who obviously care about Mother Nature will hit the big time. The youth as a voting bloc can cover a lot of ground with this. Then, solving the world's biggest problem will be diligent people, all young and full of vibrance. If not beyond our means, we are living on borrowed time, and we must bring in the youth factor strongly and fast to conserve what is left of our environment. That is how we wrap up lesson 2 of Hone Your Marks composition writing routine. I hope you have enjoyed the lesson. I hope you have learned one or two things about language ability. In our next lesson, we shall be exploring familiar context, and we have a very, very good composition lined up for you. That piece will for real inspire you, and that is exactly our objective at Hone Your Marks. It's a writing routine. We want you to be inspired to write on your own, to practice on your own, to make that skill shine, so that whenever you write a composition, your teacher is impressed, your readers are impressed, you are impressed as a writer. If you want a copy of our workbook, 0724094472 is the number to call. There are numerous sample essays in there, not for you to copy, but to build yours around. There are paragraphs walking the talk bit by bit, inspiring you to grow. Grab a copy of Hone Your Marks and start studying English Paper 3 the honest way. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see each other tomorrow, same time. Thank you. I have been your host, Simiyu LV.